Hi everyone, welcome to beautiful sunny Honolulu, Hawaii. We're at the FedEx cargo ramp, and I want to do a demonstration today on how to start your engines without an APU. So let's give ourselves a scenario here. So this plane flew in yesterday, and when they landed, they went to start the APU on the overhead unit, but the APU would not start. They tried a couple times, it never got started. So they parked the plane. An hour or two later, they got a maintenance crew to come take a look at it. The good news is that it's a simple igniter that needs to be replaced, which is like 2 or 3 hours of work and not particularly difficult. Problem is, they don't have that spare part anywhere on the Hawaiian Islands, so it might be a day or two before it can be shipped here. So, of course, we've got a very important bit of cargo. We need to get back to Memphis today. So FedEx Virtual Operations has okayed us to fly this plane back with an inoperative APU. I have no idea if that's realistic in the real world, since this is an ETOPS flight and there's special requirements for that. But this is just a virtual airline and it's a simulator, so we're just going to go with that story. So anyway, let's hop into the cockpit, and you can learn a lot of things by going through this procedure. You can learn kind of what's going on underneath the hood with a lot of the systems of this airplane. So I'm going to demonstrate a lot of those for you today. So the plane is all warmed up. I have everything all ready to go up here. The overhead, everything is set. The fuel pump's on. We were all fueled up, and I have the hydraulic pumps all set to auto. Auxiliary power, of course, is on. The battery's on, and we're ready to go. The nav light's on, just meaning there's somebody inside the cockpit. So what I first want to show you here is what are called the synoptics pages. Hopefully you've kind of seen these before, but if not, let's go ahead and take a look at the synoptics page. So this panel controls the synoptics. You control which display is being changed. So we're going to do the right inboard, and let's look at the first four here, and this will kind of give you an idea of what's going on with this plane. So we're going to look at the electrical page first. So the power source is the primary and secondary external power. You can see that's feeding the left side of the plane. Primary external power is feeding the right side of the plane. These are the generators. None of the engines are running, so of course these generators are not producing power, so this is all as expected. Hydraulics, so I have everything everything turned on. The engines are not running, so you don't see these outer ones running, but the electric demand pumps are turned on, and these are, we don't have any air running right now, so that's why these have an X. So fuel page, this is not enough to get us back to Memphis, of course, but this is just a quick setup of the plane that I did. And this is the page that we want to pay attention to. So you probably know this, but I'll kind of review this. These engines start using bleed air. That's just a high pressure airline, a high pressure line of air that feeds into the start valve of the engines. You need to have some source of air, and of course the APU is what typically provides that bleed air to your engines, but our APU is not working. So we've got that problem. How do we supply bleed air? And the answer is an external, it's called an air start unit, an ASU. And you can hook one of those up here. I hadn't done that yet because I wanted to show you, this page shows zero duct pressure, so there's no air pressure anywhere. So our packs are not running, so we're not getting any air conditioning running. So this is expected up here. You see the packs are turned off. So I wanted to show you this zero, and we're going to go ahead and go over to the tablet, and let's go to air start unit. And you can immediately see duct pressure starts to build, and these green lines start to pop up. The ground, this is where it's coming from, and it's feeding the packs. And now we've actually got air conditioning running, believe it or not. You see the packs are now running. So so that shows you kind of what's going on. So we are we were skipping a lot of this. We're not doing any of the flight plans or anything in the FMS. So we just kind of want to get right to the engine start procedure. So let me. So one important part of this is that we're using GSX for our pushback, and you need to do a little bit of configuration with GSX in order for it to push back with engines running. Typically, it will, if you have the engines running, you request pushback, it will tell you, sorry, I can't do that, the engines are running. You need to request ground services with the engines turned off. However, there's a way to change that. So we're going to go into the GSX menu, and this is a setting that's on a plane-by-plane basis. You want to go to Customize Airplane. Let me drag this over to here, and you need to check this setting right here, engine start before pushback. I already had it turned on, but you need to turn that on, and this is per model, so if you have any of the other 777 models, you need to do this as a separate step for them. Click save, boom, we've got that run, and we've got that configured, and we're about ready to actually call the tug over. But let me pop outside and kind of tell you what we're going to do this in 2 steps. We could start both the engines here at the cargo stand, but the problem is, we've got this air start unit. We've got, in fact, let's call GSX right now just to kind of get that rolling here. We wanted to prepare for pushback and departure. And of course we want FedEx. We don't want UPS, those other guys. So this is that new menu option that pops up after you set that option. Do you want to start engines before pushback? Yes, we want to do that. So that starts, the marshals are starting to come over here. And you notice that they're all kind of in this area, and this is a dangerous area right in front of a jet engine that's running. So we've got the air start unit as well as the disconnect. So we're going to do this in 2 steps. We're going to start the far engine, the right side engine on the other side of the plane here. We're going to start that first. Then we're going to disconnect all this equipment with this engine off to keep things safe. Then we'll push it back and we'll do what's called a cross bleed start. We'll use the bleed air from this engine and use that to start the left side engine. So while they're getting that all done, I'm going to go ahead, and I have a Stream Deck here. I'm able to control a lot of things. So I'm going to up the sim rate here to 4x just to get this faster, so the tug should start to move over really quickly here and get things hooked up. And boom, it'd be amazing how well modeled, even the hookup here, if you can zoom into here, which I'm not going to do, but you can really see how detailed both the GSX and especially the plane are. So let's go back to sim rate 1. So we do actually select our pushback direction. We do that now, but we're not going to push back yet, but we want to go nose right. We're going to go to runway 4 right here in Honolulu. So instead of pushing back immediately, it saw up here, waiting for engines to start. That came up kind of quickly and disappeared. So we are ready to start the engines. Let's go ahead. We probably should have done this earlier. The beacon needs to go on. That's the flashy light on the bottom that lets the ground crew know, hey, this plane is about ready to move. So it's a warning for them. So what we're going to do, so we have the air start unit connected. We've got duct pressure. So now we're ready to start the right side engine. You would do that by clicking this to start. We have the auto start on, so that enables you to be able to turn on the fuel control immediately instead of having to wait for the N2 to rise. But I have this all set up with a Stream Deck, so I'm going to do those 2 buttons and I want you to watch this screen right here as I push the button. So okay, I'm hitting the right engine start button now, and the fuel run also at the same time. So, and you'll see what happened there. The packs are now turned off, and all the bleed air is coming from the ground air unit going this way through the isolation valves and going directly to the start, through the start valve to the right side engine. And you can look right here. You can see the engine is spooling up. Everything is starting as desired. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up just to get the rate going here, just to speed things up. So the engine is just about running. Okay, so now it no longer requires air. The engine's running on its own. You'll see now everything's shut off. The packs are not running yet. I think there's a 60-second delay between when the start valve closes and when the packs turn on. So what I'm going to do is I'll speed up the sim rate again just so you can see that in 15 seconds as opposed to 60 seconds. And any second now, you see the duct pressure go up, and the packs should fire up here now, right? And there they go. So the packs are running, the air conditioning is going. The people back there, this is cargo, so if there are any animals back there, they're probably happy to have a little bit of airflow. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're not going to start the left side engine. We are going to do a cross bleed start. So we want to disconnect all of our equipment from out here. So let's go ahead and do that. So I do have the brakes. Actually, no, I do not have the brakes on. I'm going to go ahead and turn the brakes on. There we go. And back to here. So before we do this, let's go over here. Let's look at the synoptics pages. So electrical. So the right engine is the only one that's running, so the right engine generator is supplying the power to the right side of the plane. Left side still has external power running. So so let's go up to the top. Let's turn this off, and then that will change this. Now the right side generator is now powering everything. The bus ties are closed, and it's powering both sides of the airplane. You also see the backup generator is available if needed. It's not actually connected, but if this failed, this would automatically switch over and turn on. Okay, let's go back to the air page, and that's as it was before. So now what we're going to do is release the ground power. We didn't need that anymore because we were just we had released it up on the overhead. Now we can release the air start unit, and you can see it just disappeared. And let's remove chocks. And now GSX tells us to release the parking brake. So I'm going to release the parking brake. All engines clear, start at will, so we can now start the left side engine. And also notice these two little things popped up. I'm glad they did because I want to demonstrate to you how you clear those out. It's really cool. The automated checklist system of the 777 kind of walks you exactly what you need to do to fix this. So let's keep that in the parking lot. Let's go back to starting the other engine. So I'm going to go back down to here. I'm going to go to my Stream Deck. I'm going to press the left engine start and then the fuel run, and you'll watch how that all changes. Now you can see that the bleed air is coming from the right side engine, going through the isolation valves and going through the start valve of the left engine. And you can see the N2 start to spool up. Everything's operating as desired. And I'm going to go ahead and speed this up again just to make this a little faster. Engines, N1 is starting, the fuel flow, and the EGT, the engine gas temperature, is going up. All right, everything's all shut off again. The packs are off. This again is the 60-second delay. I'm going to speed that up again. I just want to make sure everything is up and running. Packs, so forth. This should take another 3 seconds maybe in real time. There we go. Boom. Everything is running again. So I'm going to set the parking brakes. GSX is going to disconnect things. Let me switch back to sim rate 1 just so we're back to realistic. So let's go through the synoptics one more time to see what's going on. So again, here everything is running as normal. The left side powers the left packs. The right side powers the right packs. The isolation valves are, let's see, the center one's closed, but that's as expected. Go to electrical. Left generators running, powering the left side. Backup generators are both available, not connected, and the right side is running. And hydraulics. Everything's good. You've got the outer ones are the engine. That's the engine. Hydraulic pumps are running. The demand pumps. This one actually is on just because it's needed for something. Those turn on and off as needed. This is fun to watch this page while you're like, especially when you're coming into land, when you start lowering the flaps and lowering the landing gear. You'll see these on-demand pumps sort of kick in and turn off as needed. It's really cool to watch this. We are just about ready to go. What else do we need to do? Oh, we need to clear these two error messages. And these don't happen all the time, but I'm glad they did, so we can watch. We can demonstrate what we need to do to fix that. And that is through the non-normal checklist. So I'm going to go to the lower center panel. I'm going to click checklist, and this is going to show the checklist. Of course, you should be doing the checklist. I'm very much simplifying this whole startup procedure. So these pop up automatically. It shows you what you need to do. So let's click hydraulic pressure demand C1. So so it explains, here's the condition: demand pump output pressure is low and commanded on. So what it tells you to do, so what we want to do is the C1 air demand pump selector, turn it on. So that is this one right here. So let's turn that on. And let's see what happens. Oh, hey, it went out. That error message went out. Let's just jump forward and let's go ahead and do this one as well, because that's what the second one is going to say. And that should clear out, hopefully. Oh, it didn't. Okay, well, let's see. No, so that one's good. So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and put them back. Sometimes you need to sort of play with this a little bit to get this all to work. I'm just going to put them all to on. And there, that fixed it. So sometimes if you just spin knobs enough, then things just fix themselves, right? That's not a real world procedure. Don't do that. But anyway, that's all cleared. Both engines running. We got electricity, we got air, we got hydraulic pressure. We are good to go. So that concludes this little demonstration. I hope you learned a few things about what's going on underneath the hood with the amazing PMDG 777. Of course, the Boeing aircraft is even more spectacular since it's the real thing. So anyway, I hope you learned some things, and see you next time.